To this now, young storytellers and environmentalists gathered in Durban for the Nature, Environment and Wildlife Filmmakers Congress this weekend. The event was hosted in partnership with the National Geographic under the theme Africa Refocused. It is meant to empower filmmakers and activists on the continent, and as it continues to tell its stories about environmental conservation. Newzroom Afrika's Karinda Jagmohan filed this report.
The African continent is at the center of many wildlife documentaries, but few of those stories are told by us.
People not publishing the right information about Africa. If you ask anybody from outside Africa or our African continent, if they hear about Africa, all they think is Africa is poor, such stories, because they are the ones that were published, and people, they didn't publish the right information about Africa.
This conference of filmmakers and activists seeks to create opportunities for change.
We are funding especially emerging young filmmakers to produce their first films. By the end of this weekend, we have announced funding for over 35 films, short films for stories all across Africa, opportunities for young people to come on over to the wild side. There is an urgent need for us to all respond to the problems that the planet is experiencing. And if we are not part of that conversation, how can we as Africans contribute and come up with solutions?
Over the past week, filmmaking experts have conducted workshops and panel discussions about documenting environmental conservation.
It's tough to tell these stories because there's a lot of boundaries from the government, and lack of resources to go to the field to talk to these communities. But I think they need to pull up their socks, because at the end of the day we need to tell this story. It's so important, not only for us but for the community. So it's important to help those communities raise their voices on the challenges that they're facing and the importance of them, for instance, coexisting between them and those animals, because they both have the right to live.
The conference ends on Monday, but local storytelling must continue.
Our stories need to be heard. We need more young people jumping up on board so that we get to educate, we get to tell our stories, so that a lot of people know what Africa is. We have to know Africa for what it really is and not what people think about it, people's perceptions. We need the real life stories about Africa, and they have to be told and be heard.
For Newzroom Afrika on Channel 405, I'm Karinda Jagmohan in Durban.